Hey, Kyle here, and this is another video in GoG's Guide. We're introducing a new unit this time though, called PHP Variables. And I'm not sure if you know anything about variables yet, but we're starting right from scratch. Just letting you know ahead of time though, variables span across pretty much every programming language I've used at least. And it's something that you'll be able to bring with you into the world ahead after you learn it here. So it's very useful. And let's get started. So to start off, I'm going to give a basic little example here. I've created a box, the box on the slide, three-dimensional, it's our friend. I'm going to give this box some traits, okay, just to start off, and you'll see where I'm going with this shortly. So, traits of the box. Well, firstly, let's give it a name, shall we? We're going to call it Boxy. And then, well, what's inside this box? Perhaps, let's just say there's knives inside this box. It's not for kids, it's pretty dangerous. And, well, now you might ask, how many knives are in this box? Okay, 27. So there you go. We have some traits of the box. You guys can become best friends now if you know a bit about this box. It's all good. So, well, what are the box's capabilities? What can this box do and what can happen to the box? Well, firstly, you can add content. You can add more knives to this box. You could remove content. You could take away some knives. You could remove the whole box. You could blow it up, completely dispose of it. And you could also transfer content of this box to another box, right? Well, this represents a variable in a pretty good way right there, because as I'll explain later, variables are very similar to boxes and storage. They're storage devices. But before moving on to the exact definition, I'm going to give one more example that's even more closely related to PHP in specific. So now we have a money bag. Notice they're quite similar, money bag, box, they both hold stuff. So what are the traits of a money bag? We're going to name it money. However, I'd like to point out here that we actually have the money symbol before the name. And you'll notice that later on, that's something we actually do with PHP. You'll see. And what does it contain? Oh, well, golly, it contains money. Who would have thought? And how much? 2,500. Didn't put the money sign on there, but, you know, that's a flaw. Whatever. So, 2.5 grand. And what are the capabilities? Well, quite similar to the bag, or box, I should say. You can add money, you can remove the whole bag, and you can transfer money like an ATM, you know. So what do these two things have in similar, and how on earth do they relate to variables? Like, what is Kyle talking about, boxes and money bags in PHP? No, they both represent variables because, one, variables need a name. You declare what a variable is. You could call a variable money or anything. And variables hold data. There's the important little tidbit you need to know about variables. They're storage bins. If you open your closet and you have a bunch of bins there, and you can put stuff inside of them, take stuff out, picture variables like PHP. You can hold things inside them, letters, numbers, data of all kinds, which we'll explain further through the series. There's certain types, there's more specifics about it, but that is what a variable is, and I'm going to show you guys how to make one, how they look in PHP. Alright, so I have my workstation set up. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to create a variable, and we're going to print the data inside a variable to the screen. So echo it out. I taught you that in a previous video. So anyway, what you need is, well, quite obviously you need your XAMPP, local server, whatever local server you're using. It has to be configured, set up, ready, it's running, Apache, all that good stuff. You also need to be in your GOG PHP. And just to double check, if you haven't already, make sure it's open. You should see the stuff be displayed here. And actually right now, considering we're getting pretty far through the videos now and I've finished the first unit, I'm actually going to make a new folder called Basic, or just call it Unit 1, perhaps. Should we call it Unit 1? Why not? Let's call it Unit 1. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm really picky. We're going to call it Basic underscore PHP, because that's going to get confusing trying to guess which unit is what, and I like to do things right in the first time. So, basic PHP, we're going to drag all those files in there. Oh yes, oops. Okay, drag them all in there. And now if you go open up your GOG PHP, oh look at that, basic PHP, all your stuff's nicely displayed in there. And now we can get started on our next unit here, which, if you can guess what it's going to be called, it's going to be called variables. Variables, right there. So just make that little folder, open it up, and all the variable discussion and units, questions, projects we do are going to be in this folder now. So to start off, let's make a new PHP file. I'm going to call it basic variable. That works. Let's not be picky about that one. Basic variable.php. Yes, I would like to use this because PHP files work. And we're going to open this on Notepad++. Let's give it a second. And see here, I have my notes tab open too that I'll let you guys see afterwards. They're going to be included in the project file. But let's get to the PHP here. So you see here, you got your PHP tags like normal. We're going to echo out normal text. You got, or test. Let's just echo out test. Works nicely. I'm going to open up our browser now. You know, we've been through this whole drill before. I'm just simply doing the basic check, because if you ended up having a problem with this, you'll probably be looking for issues in the wrong area, right? So now we have echo test here. However, wouldn't it be cool if we could store this text with the word test in it inside of its own little storage bin, and then we can echo that out? So that's what we're going to do. Remember when I told you guys about the money bag and it had that money sign in front of the name? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to call this, we're going to erase the echo test. We're going to make a variable called money. You notice here it has the money sign, money. And now money right now, well, we'll put a semicolon right there, because that's how you end a command. Making a variable, that's making one right there. Check this out. Nothing's on your page, well, because you haven't echoed anything, and there's nothing in money right now. You've just said, here's a variable, it's called money. There's nothing in it. But just for the sake of like going somewhere with this tutorial, we're going to put value in money. So how much money do you have? Let's put equals 2,500. Remember as stated in the money bag? I'm going to save that. And now if you go check your browser still, nothing's outputted, right? Because that's what echoing and printing is for. But what if we were to do this? Echo money. Simple as that. You put echo money. You do not need brackets, or I mean quotes, pardon, for echoing a variable. I'll explain that because I remember way back in the beginning of the series I talked about single and double quotes, and there's a bit of a difference. That will be explained because variables are where the difference takes part. Oh, and look at that. 2,500 is displayed on your screen. Isn't that cool? You have now echoed money, and this is the value. So what if you did this? If you wanted to, I'm just going to show basic math with a variable. I'm doing another video on that coming up, but just for the sake of showing, let's say money equals 5,000. Say you were to change it. It says money equals 2,500, money equals 5,000. Then you echo money. Well, let's see, what's money going to be? Money is going to be 5,000 now because you just changed it. So there's an example of how you can change a value. And when I mentioned in the money bag example that you can transfer data, well, what you have to do is you're not making, well, you're making a new variable. You're not actually transferring it to another of the same money variable. It doesn't work like that. You do this, new money, let's call this our new variable, equals, and then you call it money. And now this variable right here, new money, is equal to money, right? So if we were to echo new money instead, right? New money, and then we go here, still 5,000, because this variable now is equal to this variable, and this variable is equal to 5,000. So I hope you guys understand the basics. I'm going to stop this video now because I don't want to pile it up with a ton of just tasks and information. We're going to go through step by step in future videos about doing math with variables, referencing variables, concatenation, bunch of cool stuff. Looking forward to seeing you guys again. Kyle out.